What is up, Steelers Nation? Thank you so much for jumping on to another episode of All Steelers Talk. I'm Noah Strackbine, joined always by my main man, Jacob Punturi. Find us on youtube.com/All Steelers Talk, or subscribe anywhere you get your podcast. The Pittsburgh Steelers take on the Green Bay Packers this weekend, Sunday Night Football. A fun one for those of you who have not heard. Bret Michaels will be performing at halftime. Well, yeah,
Poison.
Meanwhile, there are plenty of injuries to dive into, either good or bad, or some that are yet to be monitored heading into Sunday. There's a wide receiver the Pittsburgh Steelers, they're into. And I might have been the only one that said, man, what if the Steelers thought about this one? They are. Guy just knows things sometimes. So we're diving into our picks for Week 8, Pittsburgh Steelers, Green Bay Packers. It's a rainy one here in the Burgh, but it's all right. I say all the time, Pittsburgh's the most beautiful when it's a little gloomy outside. How you feel, my friend?
Feeling good, feeling better now. As Noah knows, from about 3 a.m. till about 10:30, I was stricken with a crazy migraine that was just like no lights could be on in the house. It was like a very not fun time. We've rallied. We're feeling better. We're ready to talk some Steelers football. And on top of all of it, might I add, Sabrina Carpenter concert tonight. Come on now.
I will say that my wife, shout out to my wife, dude. It's Mrs. Strackbine's birthday on Sunday, so super excited for that. We're going to celebrate tonight. I did tell her that she thought Sabrina was just in town last night when I told her you guys were going. She had a little bit of like, is that what we're doing? And I was like, no, but now nothing's going to compare to that. So shout out. Hope it's fun.
Thanks,
I would imagine it's a good time. We're looking forward to it. The Pittsburgh Steelers are looking forward to Sunday. Let's dive into it. We're going to start with the news and notes that are a number of injuries. Scotty Miller out. Zach Frazier questionable. Calvin Austin is back on the field with the rest of the wide receiver core except for Miller, and TJ Watt popped up yesterday with a hip injury that everybody and their mother overlooked on the injury report because next to it said vet day off / hip injury. Don't do that. Don't do that at all. Never do that. It should be one or the other. The Pittsburgh Steelers decided it was going to be both. We'll start with Calvin. Steelers get their wide receiver back. We'll talk offense, obviously. I want to know the impact there, but I think more than that, who's your guess at who takes punts? Because I think that's an overlooked part of this conversation. Is Keyshawn Williams officially on the bench, or are the Pittsburgh Steelers going to let the undrafted guy be their kick returner and their punt returner moving forward?
Well, what's real, interesting as far as that conversation is concerned is Scotty Miller has already been rolled out for this game. So Keyshawn Williams is going to conceivably be on the 53-man roster once again, even with Calvin Austin coming back. So I don't know if you disagree, but I think Keyshawn Williams has looked pretty explosive, pretty great. He's been able to show off his athleticism, and I think he's been able to make a lot of positive plays on these punt returns. So I think it might be a good way to sort of, maybe slowly reintroduce Calvin Austin is to take that punt returning responsibility off of his shoulders. As I'm looking at a quote from Arthur Smith here where he talked about how important it is to get a big piece of their offense and Calvin Austin back. So if that is the case, let him be that big piece on offense that you're getting back. And then let's see Keyshawn Williams continue with this momentum, and let's see if he can keep it going. Like that's at least what I would want to see. But I do also think there is this school of thought, this train of thought from the Steelers coaching staff where they want to get Calvin Austin back. They want to get him involved quickly. Maybe, if they are on the defensive side of the ball in that first series and they force a 3 and out, maybe you want Calvin Austin back there just to get his hands on the football real quick and kind of get back up to speed. So I'm not sure what your thoughts are on it, but I kind of think I would prefer to see Keyshawn Williams continue to take punts and then Calvin Austin be a bigger part of the offense. Curious your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I want this to happen, if we're going to be honest. I want Calvin Austin and Keyshawn Williams to be the kick returners, both of them. That's who I want back there. Like, why not? Why? I like Kenneth Gainwell. I'm a big Kenny G fan, don't get me wrong. But you're telling me that Keyshawn and Calvin, who are both the most electric guys on the football field at kick and punt returning, shouldn't be back there? Because that would be a blast. Two little dudes who make you miss, who are essentially getting a punt when nobody's allowed to run until they touch the football. I think that would be my move. I anticipate Keyshawn being the guy. I know that you said that they might want to work him back in there. I look at it and say, if the Steelers had other options, okay, you put Calvin back out there, but I think they're gonna say that let's be cautious. If Keyshawn is average, fine. Keyshawn's not average. Keyshawn's good, and you could see how good he is. They'll allow him to maintain that role for the time being. Again, it's because they went 2 weeks and they said, "Oh, we don't have anybody to replace Calvin ever." Huh? That's not a possibility. So you might as well slow roll him. But do I think that lasts the whole season? Potentially, but I don't think Calvin's going to be missed with Keyshawn back there, because the Steelers what he can bring, and I think they keep him off the field enough to keep him safe. The other side of that is Frazier's questionable. Do you anticipate him playing on Sunday?
I do. I mean, seems to point to they have sort of lightened the load over the last couple of days, limited his participation in order to save him for Sunday. At least that's the interpretation that I am getting from how they have been, being so conservative and cautious with him over the past couple of days. And I think it was after his first day of being limited, someone asked him and he said that he's, sore, but I think I can play through it. That to me is that typical football answer of like, yeah, I'm banged up, but you're not keeping me off the field come Sunday. And I think that's going to be the plan and the move going forward with Zach Frazier. So yeah, I anticipate him playing. And I'm curious to see if this calf injury has an impact on him. And I'm curious to see if it does affect him and if it does, lead to any sort of more opportunities for the Green Bay Packers defense, if it sort of costs Aaron Rodgers. We've talked so much about them keeping Aaron Rodgers upright the past couple of weeks. Is an injured Zach Frazier or a less than 100% Zach Frazier going to possibly tip the scales in the Packers' direction? I don't know, but I do know that I anticipate Frazier is going to play, and I think it would have to take a pretty sizable setback between now and Sunday for that to change.
Yeah, calves are scary to me. Calves are the scariest. You could talk groins and hamstrings. Calves could be so many things, because you don't want your calf to turn into an Achilles, and NFL teams are very aware of that. They tend to be cautious with these situations. Now, that being said, I do think Frazier's going to go. I have a hard time thinking he's not going to go. I would guess Frazier's status is known tomorrow. That's my anticipation, is that tomorrow morning they do their walkthrough, and then we get the tweet that says Zach Frazier is upgraded or Zach Frazier is downgraded. One of the two, because they're either going to say Zach's not playing, this is too serious, or he's not. I know he says that he wants to. I believe him. He doesn't make that call. You know what I mean? And if it's a groin or hamstring, it's like almost in the same boat, but calves are, Christian McCaffrey missed a whole season because his calves hurt all the time. And they were like, oh, this isn't an Achilles. You're not going to tear your Achilles. You just have Achilles tendonitis or whatever it is. So you're out, because that's what it leads to. And they are cautious with those situations. I'm with you. I'm going to guess Frazier plays. I'm not 100%. I'd say I'm 70% in on Frazier playing, maybe 65, because I believe him, and him being limited helps the situation a ton, but the calves are serious. And just talking to people within the NFL, I've learned over really the last 2 years that they take calves more seriously than most injuries, because Achilles are, that's the end of it. It's not like, oh, sure, I have a bone bruise. It's like, oh, my calf is directly attached to my foot, and if this thing snaps, I'm done for a year,
Right.
Right. And you never know what comes with it. But I'm with you. I'm guessing. I'm more on the Frazier's playing than the Frazier's not playing. The third one here is TJ. Hip injury popped up yesterday, was good to go, does not have an injury designation. I mean, we didn't talk about it. Nobody in the world talked about it. We should have talked about it. Are we worried about TJ? Like, I'm not worried that TJ's missing time. He's not missing time. He's got a hip injury. Does it change anything? Does it change the outlook of what TJ is going to and how much TJ is going to play? Does it make the Pittsburgh Steelers be a little bit more cautious in this situation because it's week 8 and your best player is dealing with a hip injury? And you could say TJ is no longer the best player. This guy, and this guy, and Aaron Rodgers doesn't matter, dude. The Steelers are 1-10 all time without TJ Watt. 1-10 or 1-11, whatever it is. They don't win. They don't win without TJ Watt. You don't want to risk that. In your eyes, is it something that you're a little bit more concerned about than the Steelers are going to lead on?
For sure. And not in the sense of will he miss time? Will he be unavailable for this game? But it certainly makes me wonder, and it perks my ears up to, is that maybe why we've been having these conversations of, when is that next big TJ Watt game coming? We've had so many conversations about, like, is the pass rushing trio more of a result of, the rise of Nick Herbig or the attention on TJ Watt or something like that? But maybe it's more of there's something holding TJ Watt back a little bit. It makes me wonder, and it makes me concerned, or at least growing with a little bit of concern, that he might not be as effective as the Steelers need him to be, both for this Week 8 matchup against the Packers, but also you have the Indianapolis Colts in Week 9. You're getting into this really difficult stretch within the regular season schedule. You need TJ Watt either playing his best or doing everything he can to recuperate and recover for the remainder of the regular season and hopefully the postseason. So again, I'm not concerned about will he play on Sunday. He's going to play fine, but is he close to 100%? How far away from that mark is he, and how much does that render him ineffective or less effective because of it? So yeah, there's some concern there on my end.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And Lindsay says here that she saw it last week, that he was limping on the field during the game. If that's the case, that's a big concern for the Pittsburgh Steelers. You don't want TJ to be down at all. My best advice here, and I don't coach the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'd be terrible at coaching the Pittsburgh Steelers. We all know this. But my best advice, thank you. My best advice is, it's early. Why are we risking anything? You know what I mean? Why is TJ playing 100% of the snaps? Why is he not playing 45? The Steelers are not 1-11 or 1-10 or whatever it is with TJ playing less than 50% of the snaps. That record when he doesn't play at all. You put him on the field a little bit, I feel like the Steelers could be in a spot where you protect your biggest name on the field hands down and still have him be an impact player, if that makes sense.
Yeah, well, I guess the thing that I think kind of frustrates me in all of this is it would be totally understandable if you're like, well, we have no alternatives. We have no other options to turn to. It is, we have the superstar TJ Watt or this defense falls apart. That's just not the case for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They have Alex Highsmith and Nick Herbig who could easily play 100% of the snaps, or, to your point of just keeping TJ Watt on the roster and on the field. If they play 60 to 70% of the snaps and TJ Watt plays just a little bit as he's recovering, if this hip injury is more severe than it seems to have been reported so far, or that we know of at this point, then I think you have to just kind of give these other players who are just as talented and nearly as effective the shot to sort of make up the difference. And I just don't understand why, Nick Herbig plays 25, 29 snaps on defense last week. I don't understand, if we see that again and TJ Watt is limping off the field a couple of times, that's going to drive me nuts.
Oh, that's the end of it. TJ limps off the field one time. That's all it takes is one time. He limps off the field once. He should not go back in the stadium at all. I'm not worried about TJ being the guy that beats the Packers. I'm just not. I'm also not worried if the Steelers lose to the Packers. Like, yeah, that's big. We got a serious conversation to have. The Steelers lose TJ Watt for 5 weeks. That's a bigger conversation to have, and I'm just not willing to have that. I just don't think that that's worth it in the grand scheme of things when you look at where the Steelers are and what can transpire with an injury like that. It's huge. Play Alex Highsmith and Nick Herbig. I just feel, put Jack Sawyer out there. Everybody forgets DeMarvin Leal's on the field. You got too many edge rushers. Play him. Just play him. All right. We got to talk Calvin Ridley. I tossed it out here yesterday. You were on board. Of all of them that I tossed out there yesterday, you were on board with Calvin Ridley. The Pittsburgh Steelers, according to Tony Pauline of Sportskeeda, he says they've called. They've got their eyes on him. They are looking at 3 names when it comes to the trade deadline. Those 3 names, Calvin Ridley, Jalen Waddle, and Jacoby Myers. And I'm just saying that if it's one of the 2 there, if it's 2 of the 3 there, I think at some point, I thought about it today. I sat down and I watched a YouTube video that said, here are all the things I've predicted in whatever. And it was like some business thing. And I was like, what a douchebag. But all I thought was, this one's going to go on the list. This one's going to go on the list because I'm just saying it's early, but I'm just saying Calvin Ridley is a name the Pittsburgh Steelers have an eye on. We've talked Jalen Waddle. We've talked Jacoby Myers. I want to talk Calvin freaking Ridley. I'd give up a 5th round pick for him. 6th round would be where I'd start. If it came to a 5th, fine, but you're taking on a boatload of contract. You are Van Jefferson this to the max. You know what I mean? I want a whole year gone. I want Calvin for this year. I want half of his salary next year, and that's it. I'll give you a 5th round pick. Sounds good to me. At that point, I'd keep him for both of those years. Who cares? 32 years old. He could be wide receiver 5 for all I care. Doesn't matter to me. And it doesn't take up any space to go and draft somebody next year. I'm all about it. And at the end of it, he is the big-bodied, physical, jump ball, make some crazy catch wide receiver that the Pittsburgh Steelers reportedly need. Not that they want, but reportedly need, if you ask anybody out there. I am all in. I'm not all in. I'm all in on Jalen Waddle. I'm all about Calvin Ridley. And I think that Calvin Ridley stinks this season. I do. But I think the Titans are so bad that it's so hard to judge if he really stinks. Excuse me. He's coming off of 2,000-yard seasons back-to-back before this year. So it's not like he was like, oh, man, he's been bad for 5 years. No, he's been bad for 6 games. So is the rest of the Tennessee Titans' entire organization. And I have, look, at Cam Ward could be fine, but it's like somebody saying, oh, you know, Breece Hall stinks. Breece Hall doesn't stink. He plays for the Jets. Like there's a massive difference. It's just where you are and what you are doing. And I think that in Pittsburgh on a limited role for cheap, and you take his contract? Yeah. I'm about it.
What I appreciate in all of that is that where we agree 100% is that he has stunk this season. Yeah. And when I saw the first couple of games, I think I was a little bit more blamey of the Calvin Ridleys of the wide receiving core. And then you're just like, all right, well, no, the Tennessee Titans are just, they're fully in that rebuild still. They kind of stink. It's probably not just because Calvin Ridley is 32. And that being said, even if he has regressed slightly, that's not the worst thing for a player who is not in his prime to come into a situation like the Pittsburgh Steelers offense, which isn't looking for another DK Metcalf. Like we can talk about how nice it would be to add the Jalen Waddles and to add these superstar players, but to be able to bring in a complementary piece that is also capable of making big plays and also is capable of, winning a one-on-one ball from Aaron Rodgers from time to time. Yeah, Calvin Ridley absolutely fits the bill. If you can get him for cheap, you can get him for some cheap day 2, day 3 picks. 5th or 6th round pick, please bring him on. I think he would be a strong, cheap, low risk addition. Yeah. And I think you would be upgrading your offense in the process. Now, you cannot say, oh, we are getting Calvin Ridley from 3-4 years ago, right? Like you have to be very upfront and honest about that. But at the same time, sure, you get a player that improves your offense. Like I'm about it for the right price, for the right sort of the right asset going back. I'm about it.
Look, I've made the argument, you've made the argument that they should get Tyler Lockett. Okay. We are clearly not worried about guys who were in their prime 3 years ago. So the Steelers just need another guy who could come in here and catch the football and take attention away from DK Metcalf. And I think that he could do that. I think in moments, if he catches 3 or 4 passes a game, great. I also think that I don't even know what the expectations are because he's never had a good quarterback. He played with Matt Ryan when he like couldn't really figure it out and he had the mental health issues, and then he took a year off of football, and then he came out, and you don't even know if that's when he was at his best or if that's when he was at his worst, and came back and he had a bad Trevor Lawrence, and then he had Mason Rudolph / Will Levis, and now he's got Cam Ward. The trajectory of going to Aaron Rodgers is ridiculous. It's like somebody just torpedoed you off of the moon to be like, here you go. You know what I mean? Latch onto the star. That's your new quarterback. Like, it's just a totally different situation. I think that the expectations would be, I wouldn't have any, but I can't sit here and say like, oh man, dude, I don't know. He doesn't look good in Tennessee. It's like, yeah, no duh. No duh. Neither does literally anybody in Tennessee right now.
Correct.
And I'd be fine with, look at, if they want to go make a splash, it's Jalen Waddle. And I'm all about Jalen Waddle, and I will continue to push Jalen Waddle. If they don't want to go make a splash, if they just want to make it a normal trade, I think Calvin Ridley makes a lot of sense. I honestly think that depending on what you can get for a contract situation, like how much Tennessee's willing to take on, I'd be more comfortable with Calvin Ridley than I am Jacoby Myers, because Jacoby comes with the expectation of a contract, and I think Calvin could be a rental. And I'm more okay with a rental, I think, than a guy who's going to be here for 3 years.
For 100% agree with the rental line of thinking. And I'm looking over at his contract details right now. He has a roster bonus of a little over $3 million due when the next league year starts. Yeah. So, I mean, like, that's basically all you would be on the hook for. Like,
I think
if you really wanted to, like,
if you're the new team, right?
Well, sure. Yes. But I think like there's a very clear out within this contract, and he was paid over half of it at the time of signing. So like, it's not as intimidating a deal as maybe, because his cap hit's probably like 20 some million or something like that this year.
If I had this year was 25, 28. Yeah. Next year's 26. The year after that's 27. There's a $16 million out. That's what I'm saying. I'd tell Tennessee, you got to take on you have to take on half of next year's contract.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'd get rid of him the year after that. That's what I would do.
Yeah. That's like a very like sick way of doing that.
Yeah. And that's what the NFL is. They do that all the time. Ask Van Jefferson and the Rams, who I think are still paying for Allen Robinson. Like, I'm pretty sure like it just happens all the time. I think it's a real possibility in that conversation. You'd have to give up more, but Calvin Ridley's going to go for a 6th round pick. He's 31 years old. You want to give him a 5th? There you go, dude. There's Russell Wilson. Have you a good time. You have fun with that.
Yeah,
you'll be fine.
Good point. Great point.
That's what I'm saying. And we'll see what happens. The Steelers are reportedly calling. And we'll see if that interest turns into anything more, but I expect it is. It's heating up a little bit too much for me to sit here and say that it's not. All right. It's Friday. It's time to make our picks. Pittsburgh Steelers, Green Bay Packers, Week 8, Sunday Night Football. Brett Michaels, Poison playing at halftime. I don't know if it's the whole Poison band or if it's just Brett Michaels. It was in the news release. It was just Brett Michaels. So I hope it's him and a guitar, a cappella, that wouldn't be a cappella, acoustic, just hanging out there, having a good time, playing at halftime.
That'd be great.
Yeah, it would be. Pittsburgh Steelers are underdogs in this one at home against the Packers, who, look at, they're just as good as the Pittsburgh Steelers, if not better in most people's eyes. And in Vegas's eyes, they're going to win this one. Aaron Rodgers is not going to beat all 32 teams, at least not this time around. The Pittsburgh Steelers are underdogs by 3 points with a 45.5 point over under. We were both so wrong last week. It was so disgustingly wrong. It was embarrassing. It was brutal. It made me a little bit embarrassed to get on the live stream afterwards, but we did it anyways. What's your picks for this one? Can we get it right? Can we come back? Can we come back stronger than ever? That's the hope. That's the hope.
That's the hope. That's the dream. That's the goal. This is what we do. We're a resilient duo over here at All Steelers Talk. And I think the Steelers are also a resilient duo and then some plus 51 because they're going to I think they're going to come back and make up for that just stinker of a Thursday night football game. It's going to be close in my opinion, but I think the Steelers are going to win this game, get their 5th win of the season. I have the final score being 21-17.
Oh,
Pittsburgh Steelers. So we got them the under. I don't know how they are in terms of like hitting the over under, where what they've been doing. Have not kept track of it, but I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be just a little bit of that Aaron Rodgers magic that makes the difference.
What's the Aaron Rodgers magic? What's your stat line for him?
Well, I was thinking that this might be like his his season high in passing yards, which is not going to be a crazy high number because I think his current is like
249.
249. So yeah,
249.
There you go. So if
248, he just beat it in Cincy. He just beat it in
Cincy because it was 244.
It was 244 in New York. He beat it in Cincy. I think it was 248.
Wow, big numbers. I think he gets 260, but I think it's one of those to make up for again what should have been another fourth quarter comeback victory led by Aaron Rodgers against the Bengals. I don't think that gets ruined if it happens again against Green Bay. I think the Steelers might find themselves down in the fourth quarter, but I think Aaron Rodgers is going to lead them on a drive that either, gets that go ahead touchdown or, puts them in front to give them that 21. And then the Packers have to try to catch up. I don't know, but Aaron Rodgers is leading them to victory. You can count on it because I'm never wrong, as Noah has made clear.
That's Jacob is never wrong, especially last week. But even if he was nowhere near as wrong as I. So that's okay. I agree with you here. 21-17 is a good number. I think this is a little bit more of a shootout here. I don't think it's a crazy shootout. This isn't 35-33. This isn't 33-31. This isn't anything nonsense like that. This is a simple, nice shootout. It keeps everybody entertained, reminds Aaron Rodgers that Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. I do think he gets the win over the Steelers. I'm not bringing the enthusiasm here because I brought the enthusiasm so enthusiastically last week that it came back and it backfired. I blame myself for the loss in Cincy. This is what we do. Accountability is my, you know what I mean? They call me Noah Accountability Strackbine. And correct. I will say that this week I have to stay open-minded, cool, calm, and collected. But I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to win this one. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers walk into Sunday Night Football. Historically, they are great when they bounce back from a Thursday night loss to an AFC North opponent on the road. It's a rare history, but it's there, and this is what this week is about. Aaron Rodgers, dude, you want to talk revenge game? This is the ultimate. I don't care what this guy says. I don't care how many times he sits there and says, yeah, man, love Jordan Love and would love a jersey swap. He is going to do his voodoo Aaron Rodgers ritual the night before, and there's going to be a ghost of the entire fan base because there is no owner, and whoever the GM is of the Packers that drafted Jordan Love, and he's going to slap it right in the face. And he's going to say, that's what I'm going to do to you on Sunday night. The Pittsburgh Steelers walk away winners of this one, 28-24 in a game where Aaron Rodgers throws 4 touchdowns and over 300 yards on his way to a victory. That is my guess in this one, because I'm telling you, dude, this is Aaron doesn't even care about it. This is it. He had this one and he was like, oh, there's week 9. I totally forgot about that. Didn't even realize. It's just the Green Bay Packers. This is the Super Bowl right here. From here, he actually wants to win a Super Bowl, but I'm telling you, it's going to feel good. He's not. There are certain games and situations where just one player cannot win that game or that situation for you. Aaron Rodgers is a guy that he can win this game for you. You know, like he could be the guy that walks on the field and he wins it. And that's going to happen. 28-24, third time's the charm. 28-24. Aaron Rodgers over 300 yards, 4 touchdowns in this one. My fantasy team stinks because I have Jaylen Warren. That's my guess in this. That's my guess.
That's a hell of a guess, brother. Hell of a guess.
We'll see what happens if they're wrong or if we're wrong. That one I don't blame on me. We picked realistic games, okay? Realistic outcomes here. This one's not on us. I didn't tell everybody to go take a nap, wake up at 2 a.m.
I thought my Bengals prediction was realistic, dude. I'll be totally honest. I'm not, you know what I mean? Like, I thought I was like, I think Noah's going to come in here and just go nutso on this thing. So I'm going to give a nice, well-rounded, realistic prediction. I think I said 28-7. Yeah, good one, Jacob, you idiot.
I could see you talking to your wife on like Thursday night, being like, yeah, man, got to prepare for the podcast tomorrow. Noah's coming in here red hot. I already know it. He's going to give some ridiculous prediction. It's going to be so stupid, dude. Such a stupid prediction. I got to come up with something realistic. I can see you just, all right, 21-7. 21-7. That sounds pretty good. 28-7. We're fine. I said 35-3. I was that close.
You're close. You're close, man.
That's close. You add another 3 onto that 3. I was spot on almost. Almost spot on.
True.
All right, guys.
That's true.
We're going to hope this week goes better. With that said, that's everything on our agenda. We're going to take a quick break. On the other side of it, we're going to start answering all your questions. We will be right back. What's up, AST Nation? I've teamed up with DraftKings. The next great touchdown is coming, and you can bet on it. The best way to do so is through DraftKings Sportsbook, where new customers bet $5 and get $300 if your bet wins, paid in bonus bets. Plus, get 3 months of NBA League Pass no matter what. With the bye week behind us, now is the time to get in on the action. Love the thrill of live betting? DraftKings has got you covered. Bet live on in-progress games right as they happen. Then use your bonus bets to stay in on the action and bet DraftKings same-game parlays for a shot at an even bigger payout. And don't worry, if sports betting is not yet available in your state, you're fine. You can still join in on all of the fun with DraftKings daily fantasy sports and have the shot to win cash prizes. New customers bet $5 and get $300 if your bet wins, paid in bonus bets. Plus, get 3 months of NBA League Pass no matter what. Sign up using my promo code ALLSteelers and get in on the action only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Alrighty. Shout out to all of our members. Shout out to our super chatters. Appreciate you guys. Anybody who's got a question, toss them in the chat. We'll get to as many of them as we can. Before we start doing that, take a quick second. Hit that like and subscribe button. Can't thank you guys enough.
Do it. Well, sorry.
Scared me a little bit. Jacob's back, dude. The Excedrin's kicked in. He's ready to go. Ready to go. Nate Moore. If I don't know what's going on with these names, by the way, guys, I apologize. It's YouTube. It's not us. YouTube just decided we were having way too much fun over here. And they were like, yeah, dude, we suck. That's what they call it. They call it YouTube sucks. So sorry, guys. I apologize. Nate Moore. If the Steelers beat the Packers, you guys 100% have to wear costumes on next Friday's pods. Rules are rules. Okay, so oh my God,
I'll do it.
I don't have a costume.
You seem hesitant. Okay, then
I don't have a costume. Can't. I don't. My problem is I'm not like a, you know what I mean. I'm a frugal guy, and I'm not gonna lie to you at all. My costume to Jacob's throwing a Halloween party. My costume to the party was Men in Black because I could just wear a suit. And it's easy. That's like which I'll rock. Don't get me wrong. You want to see Noah all dressed up, fancied up? I'll do it.
All gussied up for the ball.
For the ball, dude.
Well, if you manage, maybe I'll buy a mask or something.
It can't be scary, dude. My wife doesn't allow scary masks in the house.
Oh,
real.
Okay.
Real talk there, because it's a real thing, which is the dumbest. Where it's a whole other. It's her birthday. I can't be doing this.
No, I get. I tell you what, I get it. I had a traumatic experience when I was a kid, where one of my friends put on a wolf mask and ran at me with a knife to scare me, and it worked. It worked real well. You know what I mean? So
that's awesome.
I understand her concerns.
That's awesome. Her concerns with me is that I told her I want to scare children. And she was like, you can't do that. And I said, dude, I just want to hide on the side of the house and be like, bah! And then they run away. So I don't know, dude. I'd be about it. But if you buy it, at least I could tell her that. But then you'd have to hide on Saturday. So maybe not.
All right, I'll think on it.
We'll think about it. Yins or Jake, Steelers trade for a Green Bay wide receiver on Monday after the game. If this prediction, okay, here we go. Let's go back. If this prediction comes true here, then I will most certainly go buy a costume and wear it on Friday. There it is. That's the official bet. To add on to it, I will either potentially wear a costume on Friday, or I will definitely, if the Pittsburgh Steelers trade for a Green Bay wide receiver on Monday, which Romeo Doubs throws a fit on the sideline. Why not? I wouldn't be about it. Do I think it's possible? Not a lot, not really, but do I think it's there? I'm not going to say no. I'm not a no guy. Not a no guy.
I'll say no. Just in turn, listen, I would love for it to happen. I don't think Green Bay has any intentions or desires to trade any one of their players from their offensive side of the ball. So I'm gonna say no, but I would love to have any of them.
Poke salad, dude. Just wear a Boz jersey and carry a fake knife. Because he's a serial
You can carry
killer.
a real one if it's in your house, dude. I don't. No one's gonna stop you.
No way, dude. I'd freak out. The ghost would show up. I'd be like, and then it'd be like a cat or something. No way. We can't be doing that. Serial killer Boz, dude. What a great costume, actually. Somebody should do this and take a picture, send it to us, because that would be awesome. That would be awesome. Cody Silva. How come no one talks about Roman Wilson burning Joey Porter Jr. and Cooper DeJean in college? It's time to see what Roman's about. Also, Rodgers is the best QB mic'd up. Rodgers is a very good QB mic'd up. The guy he's funny, man. He's a one-liner type of guy. He knows how to kind of be a dick at the same time, and it's pretty great. Look at Roman played really well in college, and I would love to see Roman get an opportunity. It is not a direct correlation. And I hate to be the guy who continues to have to defend why the Steelers are not playing him. But I'm just speaking on their behalf almost of why they're not playing him. It has nothing to do with their expectations for him. It's the simple fact that for some reason he's just not impressing them enough to be out on the football field. And I can't say that he impressed me enough during the summer for me to sit here and say, I don't know why he's not out there, because there was almost no point during the summer. There was 4 catches in the preseason where I went, oh, okay, maybe. But I don't think there was any moment during the summer where I went, oh, dude, Roman's got to be out there, man. Roman has to be on the field. I didn't see any of those.
No, there was I think it was the second preseason game against Tampa Bay that he stood out, and that was probably the best that we've seen him look since being drafted, and just in any sort of capacity, practice, training camp, etc. I don't know what it is that the Steelers want to see out of him, but whatever it is, he's failed to do so, and the Steelers just will not give him an opportunity until that changes. And again, I do not know if it he can run some routes decently well. He has good hands. Mm-hmm. He's quick. There's a lot of things that appear to be a good wide receiver in the making, but whatever happens on the actual field, and they just don't see him as a complete wide receiver, or else he would be getting the snaps. It's not a matter of, oh, the Steelers are really making him earn his keep. No, they need wide receiver talent. If they viewed him as a viable option, he'd be getting those snaps. Was he sick in college? Yeah, that Michigan team was unreal. But does that mean that he is that same player in the NFL? Sadly, no, not even close.
No, not yet. And maybe he gets there, maybe he doesn't. But where we sit today, no. Stephen Cornfield had no idea I'd get a halftime show. Heck yeah, dude, a little Sunday night action with a little Brett Michaels, potentially Poison, but most likely just Brett Michaels. What's up with TJ? Dealing with a hip injury, has no injury designation, which is good, but was limited in practice yesterday, and I believe today. I want to say today. Again, doesn't have an injury designation. The Steelers feel he's okay. Something to monitor, though, because Lindsey pointed out he was limping last week. Popped up this week. Didn't practice Wednesday for a vet's day off. Okay. Thursday had a hip injury, limited. And then Friday also had a hip injury. So something to monitor. Again, it's not going to affect him this game, but it's something to keep an eye on. Bernard Pony said Rodgers is going to have a bad game. Well, there it is.
Oh, that's true then.
Steelers just won. Steelers just won the game. The pony curse is a real thing. So the only team it doesn't actually affect is the Cleveland Browns. So shout out to Aaron Rodgers, man, who just won fantasy football for like so many people. That's awesome. Diamond, Noah, you could be Pittsburgh dad or Nick Herbig. Friend of the show, good old Mark Kaboom Kaboli calls me Nick Herbig every single time he sees. Every single day he calls me Nick Herbig. He walks in, and I'm sitting there on my laptop, and he goes, "Yo, Nick Herbig." I'm like, "Yo, what's up?"
Kaboom!
Kaboom! Every day. Pittsburgh dad would be awesome, though. You know what? That's a compliment. Thank you so much, actually, because Pittsburgh dad's a legend, absolute legend. And I hope my dream is to be able to sit in my basement one day and just enjoy some icy lights and watch football. That's the dream. That's the dream. And Pittsburgh dad feels like he's living that dream. He's probably not, but that's what it feels like. That's what it feels like. Shout out. Nate Moore, me and my dad are going to the game. Super pumped. Hell yeah, dude. That's awesome. Glad that a couple of people are going out there in the chat here. Nate, you got to check out. If you're looking for food, Mike's Beer Bar. You could get anything in Mike's Beer Bar. You want a bowl of cereal? They got it. You want a 14-ounce steak? They got it, dude. You want something served on hot rocks? They actually do have it. It's pretty crazy. They have like 400 beers. We are not sponsored by Mike's Beer Bar at all. I just met him like 4 times, and he's the nicest human, and his food is fantastic. So anybody who's ever looking for food down there, that's the spot to go to. Hope you enjoy it, dude. That's awesome. If you see me while I'm doing the walkover, hit me up. I'm actually going to do it in the crowd too, like in the thing, because my brother's coming to the game. He's a Packers fan. So I'm going to go meet up with them at a tailgate for 5 seconds, and then I'm going to do the walkover. So if you see me, say what's good. Even if I'm recording, say what's good. Bernard, is CA3 back? Is big. Back. We're going back. Yes, he is. Yes, sir. Calvin Austin will be on the field. What?
And it's big that he's back.
Oh, it's huge that he's back. It's huge that he is back. Calvin Austin being back is a pretty significant boost to the offense. Even if he only catches like 2 passes, it's the fact that a defense actually has to acknowledge that he's out there and that Aaron actually has somebody that he could trust who's out there. I think that's the biggest part of this. Is like, oh, DK's covered for the 17th time. Calvin Austin's over here. I could throw it to Calvin Austin. I think that's the biggest part of this. It's not even, oh, he's going to catch the ball 60 times. It's just that he's out there, and Aaron's got somebody he could throw the freaking ball to that's not DK Metcalf. Shout out to 350 Supers. I wish I knew you guys' names. This is a bummer. What about adding to the running back room? Hall from the Jets last year on his contract. Somebody, I forget who it was. It was some analyst pitched that the Pittsburgh Steelers need. Oh, I think it was Doug Whaley. Was like, the Steelers need to go get Breece Hall. And I was like, okay. Look at guys. Okay, here's my thing on this. And I'm not saying this is you 350 Supers. Jaylen Warren is averaging 7.5 yards per carry in games right now. You don't need a running back. You have a running back. You have a running back 1. His name's Jaylen Warren. Your running back 2's name's Kenneth Gainwell. He's doing just fine as well. At some point, you're going to get Caleb Johnson involved in the action. I am not at all about going to get a running back. I am anti go get a running back.
100%. I think if there's one position that they can absolutely avoid and have no interest in even pursuing trades, it's absolutely running back. Like Jaylen Warren, Kenneth Gainwell, they're the duo. There's no need to mess with it. There's no need to improve it. If they are running as they should and this offense is performing like it is supposed to, you don't need a Breece Hall. Sure, more talent is more talent, but it doesn't mean that the production will follow. I love Jaylen Warren. big fan of Kenneth Gainwell playing in his specific role behind Jaylen Warren, and then Caleb Johnson getting a handful of touches here and there. So I'm not for that either. I think it's again wide receiver, or that's it, just wide receiver.
Or defensive tackle. I'm going to keep doing it. I did it to go today on Quinn Williams, and I convinced myself before I did it, and then by the time I was done, I stopped and went, I got to write a story about this because they need to go get Quinn Williams right now, right now. I'm sorry, but they got to do it. They got to do it. Bernard, I got the Steelers 24-20. I think that's a reasonable score. I think the Steelers defense concerns me more than the offense in this one, and I could see a bit of a shootout, but you hold a team to under 20, you win. I like the score. Andy Joe, throw Cole's jersey on. You have the mullet. And Cole cut his mullet, and I think it was because he saw me. I think it's because he saw me coming. You know what I mean? I think one day he walked into the locker room and he went, "Who the hell's that guy? What is that? What do we? What's that over there?" And then I turned around and he went home and he cut it. I think that's exactly what happened, actually. I'm pretty convinced that Cole Holcomb cut his mullet because of me. Stephen Cornfield, A-Rod throwing out moldy cheddar, so rotten it's green.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, dude. What a way. Nate needs more salad. AJ Brown out with the hammy means he's coming to the Steelers. Look at dude, injuries don't actually happen when the Steelers are thinking about guys. Just thinking. I'm just thinking. Just thinking. I'm not going to say no. It's a yes, but it's a yes in my. It's a yes. It's a yes. Lindsay, I know. I'm not even going to give you the floor because it's a yes. Calvin's still owed $90 million, I think, and isn't he hurt? He's dealing with a hamstring injury, but according to Tom Pelissero, it's not anything that's going to impact his trade value or his ability to play for another team. AKA, he's not actually that hurt. He's just not playing with the Titans before he gets traded. He is owed, it's like 60 million or something like that, 58 million, something like that after this year. But again, you could talk that down. You could talk that number significantly down. And I think the Steelers, if they were, unless you feel different, I don't think there's any chance they'd just trade for it straight up and just take the contract.
No, sure, maybe there is a possibility that it could happen, but it would be a very foolish thing to do for the Steelers. There's no need to take on, if you're going to take on an expensive contract for another receiver or for another piece of, another major piece, let's just use that umbrella in general, it better not be someone who's about to turn 32. It has to be someone who's, like a Jalen Waddle, to use your favorite example, or a Quinn Williams, like someone who is still very much in their prime, certainly under 30, that has to be a prerequisite. But you could, is there a world? Sure. I don't think it's a very likely one, though.
I agree. All right, so here's a solution to the handles, because I had to Google it, because right now we're blaming me in the chat, guys. What are we doing? According to Google, YouTube chat is now showing handles instead of display names, in a gradual rollout to combat impersonation by making each identifier unique. It's not a bug. Yeah, it's Dookie, dude. That's Dookie. That's like the principal saying, well, we have to initiate more greens at lunch. No, bro. No, give me my pizza that's 3 days old. Get out of here with your nonsense.
Dookie?
That kind of bothers me.
Not even the good 1990s Green Day album Dookie. I'm talking about this just straight up poop Dookie.
I was wondering where you were going with the Dookie. I was like, is there good Dookie? Where's this headed?
Yeah, that album is their best album.
For sure.
With American Idiot, for sure. But
for sure, dude, for sure. I just didn't. It didn't come to mind. Didn't come to mind.
Dookie. How do you think of anything else, man?
Baby, when are we expecting these said trades? I think in the next week. I think it's going to be one. And I'm expecting it in the next week, like by next Tuesday. Not this coming Tuesday, the Tuesday after that. I'm thinking the Steelers have a new wide receiver. They have until is it Tuesday or is it Thursday?
Mm-hmm. They have until the
Tuesday.
4th. It's a Tuesday, yeah.
The 4th. So it's not this coming Tuesday, it's the Tuesday after at 4 p.m. is the trade deadline. So
correct.
Until then, these things are all on the trade block, which I think a lot of people take as like, oh, it's not happening immediately. It's not going to happen. Most teams are going to stay quiet right up until that day. Almost all the teams are going to do that. You're going to get a couple, but I don't think the Steelers are going to be one of them.
No, I think they really are going to take, they have these 2 games here to fully evaluate and be like, okay, maybe they're having these negotiations or conversations with other teams about these receivers. They can really stretch it out to the wire. They can really take it, let these 2 games happen first, then see where they are. Maybe it kind of puts them in a better place for leverage. Maybe it drives down the price for the set player they're interested in. I don't expect a deal to happen until, either November 3rd in the evening or like Tuesday morning on the 4th.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Guys are always cheapest on trade deadline day, always, because people just want to get moved. So it's going to happen. Carl, Mean Cup of Joe Green Bean, Spackler, Mike T strikes me. I highlighted this one because it's actually perfect. It is the actual perfect representation of Mike T. Mike T strikes me as the guy who says to drive 50 miles for some apples because they're better than what is close by, only to get there and they be the same, yet he still convinces you it's better because AKA the Pittsburgh Steelers can win a game by 60, but he says, you know what we should do? We should win by 3 in the 4th quarter because that sounds way better to me. That sounds like a lot more fun than the alternative. Am I wrong there? Like,
no. Sorry, I was reading a comment about why I'm dressed like I'm going to a poetry reading and it made me laugh.
Some of them have been good, dude. The Starbucks barista, the Starbucks barista was a good one.
Oh, they've been so good. Thank you. No, that yes, there is. It's another way of describing what I would call the sort of stubbornness of Mike Tomlin in all of its glory, right? Like it's his way or the highway. It doesn't matter if it is, we only eat these kind of apples, or I play TJ Watt even when he's injured. You know what I mean? Like it is just this way, his way or the highway. And so I am very much on board with this description that our boy Carl is throwing out there.
Yeah, spot on. Duffy Buckets. I fell asleep and missed the start of the live. No worries. Any word on Frazier? Who is the new wide receiver target? The word on Frazier is he's questionable with a calf injury. He says he's going to play. We have mixed opinions on whether or not we both feel confident he's going to. Mixed opinion on that level of confidence. And when it comes to the wide receiver target, Calvin Ridley, who the Pittsburgh Steelers reportedly have interest in, I know what I'm saying is a pretty good fit for the Pittsburgh Steelers, but I'm still holding on to Jalen Waddle. And I'm sorry, dude, but until Monday morning, when it'll be Monday, 9 p.m. is when my confidence in Jalen Waddle fades from available to and then it doesn't drop below until the next Monday at 10 p.m. That's when, because there are 2 games left for Mike McDaniels to lose his job. 2. And I don't want anybody to lose their job. But the Steelers are going to get Jalen Waddle if he does. Just saying.
Sure.
Just saying. Mean Cup of Joe Green Bean. Carl, Mean Cup of Joe Green Bean salad. Spackler. Jacob. Guan?
Is that a Jamaican flag?
Yeah, I don't know that one. While we wait on YouTube, I'm now Carl Gunnar Olszewski salad Spackler. Dominant win incoming. Steelers 38, Packers 17. Did you see Gunnar's? You never met Gunnar, so this wouldn't hit you as hard as it hit me. But did you see Gunnar's, how Gunnar described Cam Scatterbo?
No.
He simply said, yeah, he's an idiot. It's like, what's your thoughts on Cam Scatterbo? Oh, yeah, he's an idiot. That was his exact. I was like, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Awesome. Don't disagree,
definitely he's the hardest hitting guy in the NFL for a reason. Okay. You know what I'm saying? It's like the goalie in hockey. Nobody's looking at that guy going, genius. No. They're going, do you eat nails for breakfast? Probably
yeah.
Just a couple bolts.
Cool. Couple of bolts.
Couple bolts. And Nate needs more salad. How long does Caleb Johnson have until he's considered a bust? 2 seasons.
2 seasons. Yeah.
Yeah. 2 full seasons. 2, like, beginning of year 3. If the beginning of year 3, the Steelers would move on in a different direction if he wasn't part of the team, if no injuries occur. So 2 seasons. Anything before then, really jumping the gun. Lindsay, no, will you be live after the game? I will be. I want to say yes. Last time I didn't get home until like 4 a.m., which was a little brutal. The goal is to be yes. The goal is yes. The goal is yes. Either way, there will be a lengthy video out on the game. I will make sure that happens, but the goal is to be live after the game. Also, if you guys enjoyed that one, thank you so much, because I literally felt like a zombie as I did it, and I felt like I was whispering because everybody was sitting like 100 feet from me, and I was like, "This is just weird, man. This is scary." But yeah, thank you guys for jumping onto it. Enigma After Dark. I just know him. I just know him sometimes. Shout out to Enigma. Bold prediction: Aaron Rodgers gets his revenge on Broderick Jones with a Big Ben shoestring tackle when going to the sideline after score. That would be so awesome. That would be so awesome. So awesome, dude.
I would genuinely, I would just be so thrilled if Aaron Rodgers does anything just like back to Broderick Jones in this game, or if there's any sort of celebration that like makes light of that in some way. Like that would be, because it's clearly, obviously it's not it was one of those moments of competitive natures boiling over, and obviously no hard feelings between the teammates at this point, but man, that'd be good.
It would be. If you're not reading the chat right now, dude, you are missing out.
I've been having a hard time not laughing this entire time because I keep reading it, because they're
Pumford and Sons has got me. It got me good. That got me so good, dude. That got me so good, man. Shout out to Enigma After Dark. What are the chances Broderick tackles Aaron again, round 2? He said he was gonna.
Yeah, he said if he throws a touchdown, watch out. So
I could see it happening. All right. Keeping them trucking here. Dalton, do other teams allow their vets so many days off to rest, or is it just the Steelers? I feel like that is a big reason that they aren't always prepared. No, most teams do the same thing. It varies, obviously, but most organizations have vet days off. It's a pretty standard thing across the NFL. When you hit the age of 30 in the NFL, your body is like literally dust. So you need some help there. And they keep it trucking.
Yeah, I think most teams are like, I haven't seen, I'm going to look up the Packers like injury report, but I would venture to guess the first couple of weeks, or even this week, Micah Parsons does not practice every day.
No, definitely not. Yins Joe, I know. Yins Joe, why isn't there more talk about bringing in Wilkins? Yes, the guy is weird, but he's a massive man and could help that defense. To be quite honest with you, the only reason that there's not more talk is because it kind of feels like Christian Wilkins has been shunned by the NFL. Also, he's got a foot injury that requires surgery that he refuses to go get, which I think is hurting the situation. But I think it's just because he's been shunned by the NFL. Like, I don't know what happened, but whatever happened, nobody wants to talk about him. It's wild.
It's, I guess it just goes to show when the reputation, or what, I again have no clue, have no insight as to like the specific feelings from players regarding him or anything like that, but it seems like there is just not an NFL team that wants anything to do with him right now, and we've seen that with several other players over the the past 10 or so years. So I don't think he's going to make a comeback anytime soon.
Yeah, I very much so agree. Milton, hey, no, I heard that Miami is looking to move on from Minka Fitzpatrick. Have you heard anything about this? I have not heard that they probably are looking to move on from everybody. The Steelers can't trade for Minka for 2 years, at least he needs to have 2 full seasons under his belt with his new team before you could trade back for him. So that rules the Steelers out there. Unfortunately, would have been awesome, but can't do it. Factory, my wife and I are going to the Bengals game. Well, I run into you guys. If you run into me doing the walkover, I'm always down for conversations. I've had probably 5 or 6, not a lot, but 5 or 6 conversations where people have been like, yo, Noah. And I've stopped recording and hung out for a minute. So, and I appreciate everybody who does. So please do. If you see me, say what's good. Can't thank you enough. All right. I got to know what you're laughing at.
Dude, I'm just getting roasted in these comments. I'm just
some of them are hilarious. Some of them are roasting you, but some of them are like Jacob looks like he's headed to an Andre 3000 flute concert. He's so awesome.
So good.
That's so awesome, dude. That's so awesome. That's so awesome.
I do love Andre 3000 though. Like
me too. And I was just sitting here like, oh man, I would go to an Andre 3000 flute concert.
Dude, hey, you know who else loves Andre 3000 and Outkast?
Ooh.
Everyone on the Steelers.
Everybody on the Steelers.
Yeah. Everybody on the Steelers.
Always.
There was one random day that they had, I think, So Fresh and So Clean on or something, and I was like mouthing along to it as like Troy was like walking back to his locker, and we just kind of like head nodded each other as we were like, this song bumps.
This song bumps. This song bumps. That's awesome. Yeah, dude. Andre 3000 slaps. He's actually Outkast is being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and it's the same weekend that the Steelers are in LA, and they do a concert at like the inductions and the concerts at the Staples Center, which is awesome. Like before they go to Cleveland.
Yeah, I was so confused. I was like, wait, why is it in LA?
Yeah, I don't know, but it's at the Staples Center, and I was asked to go, and I was like, I wasn't going to LA, but now I think I might have to, just because that sounds crazy.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah. All right, good update here. Ian's or Jake, I've seen YouTube do this to other chats that I'm part of. They eventually change it all back, which is good. I like it. All right, guys, with that said, we're heading out of here. Thank you so much for jumping on to another episode of All Steelers Talk. Make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/All Steelers Talk. Check us out anywhere you get your podcasts. And as always, find all of our work at si.com/NFL/Steelers. Before you guys head out, please hit that like and subscribe button. Can't thank you guys enough. And with that said, enjoy another beautiful weekend in the Berg. We'll be back on Monday. Peace.